Welcome to the Passion of Entrepreneurship. I'm Ravi Tangri, and every weekday in June, I am bringing you an incredible entrepreneur who is going to share their journey and what fuels it, what gets them through the challenges moving forward. And I am absolutely delighted today to have with me Shirley King. Uh, from the United Kingdom, who is kicking off the Mom to Be Sisterhood. Welcome, Shirley.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm grateful that you could come on here. And just to start things off, this is actually your first foray into running a business, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
You went the
And I,
traditional route before of the job and the larger company.
yes, I worked for companies, several companies in different countries. And I always had in mind I want to create my own business. I
Oh, you
didn't
did?
know. Yes, yes. It was always somehow in the radar.
Okay.
And I always thought it would be fashion because that is what I studied, and I ended up doing actually something completely different.
Completely different. But you were, when you left, you were doing some project management and different things around that, correct? Or in that
Yes,
area?
that is right.
Yeah.
That is correct. Yes. Before I got pregnant, I worked as a project manager, and I did really enjoy that because I am someone that likes to be organized and control the process of things, and so that did fit very well for me. And yeah, and then I became pregnant, and
Right. Now, the
yes,
thing is, so you've got that bit about being organized, but it obviously you've also got, if you were interested in fashion, there's some creative element to you as well.
yes,
Okay.
definitely. I love to be creative, think out of the box, and create new things. Yes,
So
I
that's,
love to be unique, which is a bit
yeah,
difficult nowadays with internet.
yeah. But that's rare that someone can bring both sides of that, the right brain and left brain, to and marry them and such. So what I'm curious about is you said for a long time you really wanted to start your own business, but you were just waiting to be inspired. Is that it?
I think it was a bit of fear of not being able to do it.
Okay.
And yeah, and I went through a really difficult personal journey, which was probably also holding me back. And the birth of my son has changed actually everything. It made me so much more self-confident. And yeah, I started like a development, personal development, and I started to look into how can I develop myself and feel more confident because I know I achieve certain things. It's just about this confidence that is holding me back.
Right.
And yeah, and my son has helped me actually to take to take that out from inside of me.
So it was your own journey with the challenges you ran into when you got pregnant, correct? That you had to create this how your way through it, that you brought your project management skills to build this plan that you now can help other women with. Can you share a bit of that journey of what happened to you, how this gestated for you?
Yeah, so I was so overwhelmed with all the information that was out there, and becoming the first time a mother
Mhm.
and away from my family and far away from my mom, who obviously went through the journey and could have supported me. I thought, okay, let me just create a project plan, and I called it Baby King Project Plan.
I love it.
Yeah. So whilst I was doing my research, I was putting it all in this project plan, which at the end became such a big document. And just out of fun, I told my husband, well, who knows, maybe one day I will sell it, I will do something with it, because I believe that this challenge is something that other women will go through as well. And so it kind of got stuck in my head, I think. I just said it out loud, like for fun. but I turned it around into reality now. Actually, it is
Right.
helping me now to build this membership.
Well, I love that you actually put that structure to it, because I remember when, uh, my wife was expecting my son. It was, you're desperately looking for information, but we never looked through and actually, it was at the time we're looking up in the index. What do you do in this situation, right? We never actually created that comprehensive a plan as you have about how to move through. So then at this time you ran into some challenges with work as well, right? In terms of that sort of pushed you into this.
That is right, yes. So it just happened to be the case that I've been made redundant, and so I had time in my hands, right? When I
Yeah.
wasn't throwing up, I could do something else.
Right.
So I put my time into use, and I did not believe that someone else would hire me, and I
Mhm.
didn't feel like lying to anyone to get a job, and then be in that difficulty in saying, actually, I'm pregnant. And I think in my subconscious mind, I think that I was actually ready to do the step, because many mothers do that step to entrepreneurship once they are a mother. And I thought, who knows, maybe that can be me. And I remember actually having the conversation with my husband saying, you know what, I actually don't want to go back to a 9 to 5 job. I want to
Okay.
put the effort in what I am passionate about, and I want to put my passion, my sweat, and my hours in something that will make a change for women in this specific business that I'm creating.
So you actually, if you will, you tested out your plan on yourself
Yes. Yes.
and then said, this is something that can serve others as well.
Yes, because it is something that will really follow you through your journey. I have added in my project plan, first stage, what am I going to do? First stage is usually like the first trimester. So
Hmm.
how am I going to feel? What medication am I taking? What can just help me to survive this challenge of emotional mess that you're in because of the hormones being all over the place? And
Right.
it's a new world that you come across. And I remember I didn't even recognize myself anymore. It was just really difficult. And I used to practice mindfulness, and I used to
Hmm.
practice breathing exercises, and all of a sudden that was not helping anymore. And it
Okay.
was really weird that it wasn't helping anymore. But I then had some conversations with my teacher, that I went to a mindfulness course, and that teacher told me, you know what, it is okay. It might not be the right moment right now, maybe later. And yeah, and having that support was really, really good. And so yeah, I just went in peace with that, and found other things that were helping me physically and mentally.
Okay. So
And
in
I
a
put it
way,
all there.
you got to refine the plan as you went.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I even have the dates of the appointments that I had
Uh-huh.
to go to. And if it was postponed, I actually wrote down like a postponed. It's like a proper project. That's what a project manager does. So you follow all the steps. And it was actually amazing to have a look at it again when I created my membership content, and go back to this and remember exact date when I started my hypnobirthing, when I started my antenatal class. And yeah, and all the research why it is important to go to an antenatal class or hypnobirthing. For whom is it a good thing? For whom it isn't? And for me, it did work very well. And I would tell to my members to try it out, because yeah, it is very helpful. It doesn't matter what type of birth you will have. Hypnobirthing is going to help you to overcome those changes that happen suddenly, because birth
Yes.
is not something you can predict. And I was someone that was anxious about things, and that's why project plan was the best thing for me. And yeah, so having that thought that I want to have a certain type of birth, but it can go the all opposite way, was creating some sort of anxiety.
Yes.
And so hypnobirthing any woman is looking at me like right now, hypnobirthing is what will help you.
Okay. So what I'd like to sort of dive into is that time when you said you had that conversation with your father, well, with your husband, sorry, not your husband, about you don't want to go back to work. So share for me a little bit that journey of where you discovered that this is something that I could do. You said you've been wanting to be an entrepreneur for time, but you didn't know where the passion was. Share for me how that evolved from this for you.
So how did it evolve? Well, I remember the conversation. My husband was a bit nervous about it because obviously when you build a business, you don't make money just like when you start a job, right? From day one, you make money. With a business, you have to do a lot of work before you can earn a little bit. So I do remember having a bit of a discussion, but I was still pregnant. There was still time to think about it.
Mhm.
And I did think about it a lot, especially after birth. That is where I was like, no, this is not acceptable. I didn't have a good experience. And antenatal was fine. The birth itself didn't go as planned.
Okay.
And again, hypnobirthing was very, very helpful. And then the aftercare went downwards, like spiral downwards. It was just like day and night. I was in a different ward, and it was really painful. And I thought, no way that women have to go through this. It's like being back in the 13th century or something ridiculous like that. It's not possible. I understand that this is the most natural thing in the world, but because it is the most natural thing in the world and birth has always happened since we are here in this world, things should be much more advanced. And I thought, no, I gotta do something. I have to do something. And there was a little voice in my head saying, oh, but who are you to change it?
Okay.
And then the other side is like, hold on a second. Other women have done it. You have the experience of this, and you cannot not just do nothing. And in fact, the first thing was I wrote a 5 pages complaint. That was the first step in saying this went well, this did not go so well. Because obviously I didn't want to come across as someone hormonal, because that is how they took me at first. And I was like, no, this is not hormones. This is really because things are not going well. And therefore, I thought the first step that I can do as a fresh new mother of a few days of a baby, all I can do right now is write a complaint and let them know this is not acceptable. Absolutely not acceptable. So I'm sorry, I'm really like passionate about this.
I can notice that.
And then my Italian part comes through probably as well.
Don't mess with Shirley.
Yeah, don't. Don't. And yes, so I mean there were good parts as well. And I pointed them out exactly because I didn't want them to think I'm so hormonal. And to help other women, I have to speak out. And they actually appreciated it because many women do not speak out.
Right.
Because maybe out of fear, maybe because they are so busy with their new baby, because you enter a complete new world. Your body is different, your brain is different. You have this little human being you don't know what to do with, and you're afraid even to touch it. And all of this, why do I have to put myself into the situation where I have to fight now with doctors, with midwives, with obstetrician, and whoever is there in the hospital, right? So I do understand those women, absolutely. And in fact, I needed a bit of time to settle.
Yes.
To then be able to actually create a membership where I can support women wherever I can.
And that was the question that came up, that it was the birth was what led you to commit to do this.
Exactly. Yeah, that is in one sentence. It is the birth, absolutely. It is supposed to be the most beautiful time of a woman's life. You are the most vulnerable and you need the most support, especially from professionals that you put your own life and your baby's life in their hands and your well-being as well. So I believe that needs to change.
So you said that, as this idea evolved, you had, on the one side, this voice saying you're crazy, you can't, and then the other is like, no, because even in the short time I've known you, that there's a strength that you have. Where does that strength come from within you that was able to say, no, what is it that's enabled you to build that strength? Say, no, I'm following my passion.
I have always in my life been determined to reach what I wanted. So my dad always tells me the story that when I was a little girl, I just about managed to walk. Just out of fun, he asked me to pick up something from the table, and I said no. He was like, "Go and pick that up." I was like, no, I didn't want to. I was so stubborn. And the same way I'm with the things that I believe in. I believe this is not right.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I am right, that this should not be the case, that certain things happen in that environment. And that is the drive that I have, to help other women not to go through a negative experience. Obviously, I'm not there in the hospital, to change whatever needs to be changed at that time. But what I can do is ease their journey, alleviate that weight of organizing everything that needs to be organized for the arrival of the baby. And it can be classes, it can be all the body, what happens with my body, and you don't know where to go with your questions, especially the first trimester here in the UK. You're very much left on your own. And therefore I thought, no, I need to do something. I need to support these women throughout the process when it comes to any type of questions. What do I have to prepare? When do I prepare it? Why do I feel the way I feel? Am I going crazy? Is it the hormones? Or do I really acknowledge this as normal? So there are lots of things going on in a woman while she is pregnant, and a lot of questions come up. And I want to create a safe place where women can share that, in addition to helping to organize it with the help of my project plan, where I know exactly what I've done at what time. I want to create this community where women see each other in the video and not just hide behind an app. I had an app that I used and it was awesome. And I would love to know those ladies now that have helped me through certain things. And I thought, yeah, that needs to be done.
So it seems like it was like a perfect storm that came together there. You've always hungered to create a business, but didn't know where. But then the wrongness of what happened to you that came with your certainty that there has to be a better way, along with this plan that you had put together for yourself and the passion moving forward. It seems like all of those came together. It was like a magic moment almost to give you a yes on this.
It's almost like an explosion. It's like boom, all of this has happened, and now it's the time. And I went through a personal development to help me with that. I started reading Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. I've started following Bob Proctor with his lessons that are based on the book. And High Performance from Brendan Burchard. So I just needed to find that confidence from somewhere, and I thought, this is what I need, and this is really helping. When I'm feeling a little bit down, I pick up one of the videos or the book, and here we go. I am fueled to go on.
Okay. So that's a big thing, that you were willing to reach out for help. A lot of people aren't. They don't reach out because you knew that you needed to do some personal work to move forward on this journey. So you went out and found what you needed.
Yes, absolutely. And I had some amazing friends that have helped me along as well to find the right tools. I've heard very often in my life, Shirley, you should be more confident. You should be, you should grow, and you're so amazing, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm not sure about that. And I'm still working on it, but I feel much more confident. I think it's just this passion, but also there is a little bit of anger there, I believe.
A little bit of
of
Italian
anger.
fire.
Yes, that is definitely there. That is definitely there as well, yeah. But yeah, these things are really, really driving me.
So what made you choose to create a membership site as opposed to some other way of being able to support people? What was it about this structure that made sense to you for this?
It happened that I joined a membership for the very first time, and that was last year. And I thought, all of a sudden it kind of clicked, and I thought, actually, this could work for me as well. And I looked into it a little bit further, and I thought, hey, okay, so this is actually all those components that I want to work together are within a membership. And yeah, that's how it then happened.
So that was the serendipity then, because you knew you wanted to do this, but you weren't sure how until you did that.
Exactly. And that's why you kind of have to trust the process. Things will appear as you get along.
Absolutely.
So that idea did not leave me. And I was actually very, very eager to start much earlier than this. But I wasn't really emotionally, mentally ready. And my baby obviously wasn't ready. My husband, who will need, if he likes it or not, to look after our baby whilst I'm here. So whilst I'm working, so I need his support to make this happen as well. And therefore, yeah, all these things have to work together in order for me to be able to move on. And finally, I managed to find a course that is helping me now to build the membership, and therefore I'm a step further. So yeah,
now,
it's an awesome journey.
It is, and I think what you found that, yes, you could say, okay, I had all these other concerns of my child was too young and so on, but one of the things about if you're living intentionally and if you're putting out that what you want to create is you can choose what, but the universe chooses when. And like you say, those coincidences happen. So when the time was right, when you were ready, you found that other membership. And that started you on that, right?
Absolutely. Yes. It clicks at the right time. It clicked for me when I joined that membership that it would be a good system for what I want to do in the future, but it was not the right time. And then I came across this course and I'm like, okay, well, this is the time now. Let's do it. And I didn't ask myself, is it the right thing? I just asked myself, how am I going to do it? I knew it was the right thing. So you got to ask the right questions too, right?
Yes.
So I knew this is what I needed to do. And I'm like, okay, let's find out how I can get there.
Right. So the course came along just to provide that because you now were ready for that. And I think part of this too is a lot of times things come to us and people overthink. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, but people can tend to overthink things. And when these opportunities come, it's a matter of we have to surrender and say yes. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yes, I do agree. You do have to be stubborn.
Well, I think it's almost the opposite of stubborn, saying, okay, here's what's coming. Let's go. Let's grab on. Allow.
Oh, you mean like capturing those moments when they come,
Here's
seeing
the
them
course
and
for
taking
you.
them. Right. Yes. Sorry. I didn't understand that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All the tools that will fall in your lap, take them.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking about it, you just jump on and go and figure out how along the way.
Yes. Exactly. That's it.
Yeah. Now, as you've come along this journey, you know, there's always things that sort of set you back. I mean, it's through this other course that I've connected with you, and we've had some conversations. There have been times when you almost felt like, ugh, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how did you get through those times? How did you find, you know, different times in your journey where you just feel you're not making progress? How do you get through those times?
I am learning to accept that there are those days where things happen that are not controllable. With a child, everyone that has a child knows how it is.
Yeah.
You plan a day, how it should be, and then you get up in the morning and it just didn't happen. And
Yeah.
you can get really frustrated, and you can, yeah. And I was a bit stuck for a few days. I was stuck recently, and I thought, oh no, how am I going to go through this? And there is this insight, the conversation in my head where I'm like, you're doing this because it's the right thing to do. You are passionate about it. You know it's going to work. It's just a moment where you are a little bit weak. And this is part of the journey. And when you come to the other side, you're going to be stronger. So I have that conversation with myself.
Yeah.
Because
Listen,
I don't
self.
want to give up. Sorry?
Listen, self.
Yes. I tell myself off. I do definitely tell myself off, and then I say to myself, okay, and now be kind to yourself.
Yes. But you
But it's
also
a
reach out
process.
for help.
I definitely do. If you do not reach out for help, you're not going to go anywhere. Alone, it's not a job you can do on your own. You need that support structure if you need someone that looks after your child, but you need also that support structure where you're like, I am lost. I don't know where to go now.
Right.
Where is my direction? And then it's very important you surround with like-minded people that are going through the same journey, that might be even ahead of you, so that you can learn from their experience. People that are going through the same journey, you can support each other and talk about those people that have made it, right? And yeah,
Absolutely.
and a great friend of mine, she has sent me some quotes before this interview because I told her I'm a little bit nervous, and it was awesome. It was exactly what I needed, and it's that mind frame that helps you. If you do have other people that tell you, "Oh, well, you're a dreamer, Shirley," it's difficult.
Yes, and what I've found is that there are times you need to fire some friends.
Yes, probably.
You know, if they want to stay in that space, awesome, I respect it. But, you know, I don't have, that's not where I'm. But you've also taken a lot of leaps. Like, you know, we were chatting earlier about you've started the Facebook Lives, and I know you know you were saying there was a little bit of a flutter before that, but you did it, and you're doing great with them.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do practice, let's say.
yeah, but it's
Yeah, every
stepping into
Sunday
it.
evening. Yeah, I make it now a habit of every Sunday evening at 8:30. I changed it from 8 to 8:30 because my baby sometimes is still awake, and I want to be like ready for my audience. So yeah, 8:30 p.m. UK time, I'm live, and yeah, I have a topic that I talk about. For this coming Sunday, I have honestly not really decided yet. There's so many things to talk about. But yeah, I will announce it pretty soon because we're on Friday, isn't it? The time flies.
Yeah, we are. The weekend is here. And
The
actually, it's
weekend
those
is here.
things like the jumping into doing the Facebook Lives that are saying, you know, sometimes those moments or decisions that we jump on without thinking much turn into the biggest, most beautiful moments in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
she was agreeing as well about firing some friends.
Yeah. Yes, I love that expression.
Yeah. I mean, to
I
me,
have awesome friends.
it's a sign of
Sorry?
respect. Respect where they're at. That's cool. I'm just not in that space.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to say, since I have made the jump and I have talked about it, because I was always afraid that someone would take my idea, that comes from the fashion world as well,
Mhm.
because people have taken my ideas,
Okay.
and I learned pretty quickly that I better don't talk. So so that kind of got stuck with me. But actually, it's a good thing if you talk. Maybe you don't want to say everything, but it's good that you say, look, this is what I'm doing. And friends have come out and said, Shirley, how can I help you? What can I
Yes.
do for you?
I love
I would
that.
love to. Yeah, it's amazing. All of a sudden, you get that help and that support, and it comes always at the right time. It's awesome. I mean,
So,
I hear people saying that, and now I am living it myself. And you said earlier, it's like the universe is giving you the right things when you need them, and it's really like that.
so it's only been a short time for you, but if you were to go back and talk with the you who was starting to get the germ of this idea, who had the conversation with your husband that I don't want to go back to the job, um, what would you say to that, Shirley?
I would say go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, for me, it was pretty clear very soon. I don't know if that's the way to say it. Very soon, pretty clear, or the other way
Mm-hmm.
around, that I would not go to a regular job. To be honest, I think I made up my mind quite quickly, because I always had in my mind I want to have my own business, and I was just tired to give my efforts to businesses, sometimes not being rewarded for my work,
Right.
and yeah, and then I mean, yeah, I just was convinced from the start. And yes, my husband was a bit afraid of it, and I can understand that. So I just understood it, and I was like, well, let's not talk about it anymore. But in
Yeah.
my mind, I knew there was something out there for me,
Right.
and I had to have this birth to know what it was.
Right. So we have a question here is what about the finances? How did you come through that conversation to move forward with this, to not go back to the job and to start this?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, obviously, I said I would not go back to a 9-to-5 job, and therefore, yes, financially, I need to have the okay from my husband, who is at the moment carrying most of the bills. So I needed to convince him that this is the right thing for the family, because I see this going quite big. I really believe in it, and this is one of my businesses. I have started creating 2 more businesses, and it just happened to be all at the same time, which makes it triple challenging. But I do believe in what I do, and he sees my passion. And that is what convinced him to kind of take on the
Okay.
finances for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And yes, and
And
get it juggled in a way that we can make it.
and to clarify, it's about getting his permission because you're in a partnership with this and you're pulling out your what you're bringing into support. So he had to be okay in that partnership.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we looked at the options. That was really, you know, that was really the way to convince him that that was the right thing to do.
Right.
Because what would have been the options? I would have gone to a 9-to-5 job that wouldn't have made me happy, and our son would have gone to nursery,
Mhm.
and my weight would have gone to the nursery. So what is really the point of that?
Right.
Maybe
You
a
can
few
actually
hundred
do that.
pounds in the pocket, but that was it.
Right. So
So
this way you could be with your son, and even though that limited a bit how quickly you progressed, it still gives you that time that's magic.
exactly. I mean, it's the best thing for any child to have the mother, and if it's possible, let's make it possible for our son to have the mother. And he's a very happy chappy.
Good.
And I mean, he does go twice a week to nursery, because I believe it's a good thing for the children to be around other children, and also to get over that separation anxiety. that is
Yes.
absolutely normal for children. And Theo and I, we have a very close relationship. Yeah, so for him it's a little bit difficult, but he enjoys his time. He comes back in the evenings talking about how amazing it was, and that's good because it makes me feel like, all right, I've been really busy with my business, but he has been happy, he is okay, and that
Yes.
helps me to then concentrate on the work that I have to do.
I found when my marriage ended, and I had my son half the time, at first I really felt it when he was absent, but then I realized before, when we were together, we may all have been home, but it's like I could have been sitting in the family room or doing something in the kitchen, and he's downstairs playing. So we weren't really together. But then now, the half of the time I had him, I was so engaged with him now. And I think I got more quality time, even though I only had him half the time. So I can appreciate what you're saying about that you appreciate how they're growing, and yet you can enjoy what you're accomplishing.
Yes, it is not easy because with an Italian mother, where traditionally the mother is home with the children until they are out of the house, which in Italy is almost never.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Until they get married, right? So it's very traditional. So it is a little bit difficult to have that inside voice of me. Is it the right thing? And am I being selfish? And all that guilt trip that every mother has. Every mother has it. I just have that additional voice of my mother.
Your
I
mother
think
carries it along.
a part of this actually tells me, Shirley, is he not too young? And then I observe him when he comes home. I'm like, he is happy. He
Yeah.
is okay.
That's great that you can see that he's being enriched by that time.
Yeah, I mean, if he would be unhappy, I would certainly not send him to nursery. I would still wait a little bit longer and do what I do in the other days. When he's at home, I spend the day with him, and at night I work. That's what mothers do.
Yeah.
As soon as they put their babies to bed, they go back to their computers and do what they need to do. So that is my life at the moment, and
Yes.
I really enjoy it. It's awesome. I never thought I could do with 4 or 5 hours sleep a night, but I actually can.
So, it's funny. At this point, I'd often ask people who've been in business a bit longer, what would your advice be to people, other entrepreneurs at this point? But you are starting out in this time. So it's interesting. We've had a question come up here about, I'm looking for some ways to get money in the pocket fast, or someone else starting a business. Do you have any ideas, stories for those who need to have money coming and want at the same time to create their business? Any thoughts on that?
Well, that's very interesting. I was saying that I have multiple businesses. So what I did, I knew I wanted to create this membership, but I needed to make money soon. So what I thought was, what can I do? I can look after other children. And therefore I went to study as a childminder, and I opened my nursery. And to stand out from other nurseries, I created a multilingual nursery. I speak Italian and German, and I speak Italian and German with my son. And I thought, you know what? I'm bringing in other children from the outside and teach them the same. And they have a benefit that they might not have at home. So, so I created this nursery, and the plan was 3 days of nursery, home nursery. 2 days Theo would go to his own nursery, and my nursery would be closed. So that is just half like a part-time job.
Right.
And I would start bringing in money. However, as soon as I opened the doors and I had the first customers coming in to view my nursery, and I was almost signing up the first client, COVID happened.
Oh boy, this timing.
COVID happened. So I'm like, all right, well, that's probably another sign for me to start with my membership. Now, I am still not making money.
Okay.
So it's not really answering that question, because unfortunately, COVID happened, and I would love to know a way to make money like this. But I think I understood that the only way is to go out and have and get a 9-to-5 job if you want money like that. Because if you want to create a business, it takes time.
Yeah.
The nursery, I thought I would open up like that, but yeah, unless you know.
Well, I'm just going to pull back a little bit from what you said. What you did is you looked at your strengths, you look at what you can do, and not just what you can do, but what you would enjoy, I would think. Because
yes, sure.
you could potentially do project management 2 days a week. Right? But that doesn't seem to have the passion for you. Look at your face, you just right?
No, well, I'm thinking about what my husband told me. He was like, why don't you do translation? And actually that could bring money quite quickly. Do translation. And well, I have to get a certificate to be a translator officially. And although I speak the languages and I can translate from when we have a conversation, I don't really enjoy it. I have done translation in my previous jobs.
Right.
So
but it's back to the joy and the passion for it.
Yeah, I feel like it is the time that I do a job that I do really enjoy. I mean, I've done other jobs that I liked. I always try and find those parts that I like in anything that I do. But I don't want to be forced anymore because I have to work, right? I have to work from 9 to 5. So I better find a way to enjoy it rather than hating it from 9 to 5.
Yes.
So I am a positive person. And I like to feel good, and I like to make people around me feel good. If I am miserable, I feel miserable, and the other people around me feel miserable. Right. So I've done jobs that really nobody enjoyed, but we created an atmosphere that we could go on the whole day. And now I'm in a stage where I want to do something that I love.
Right. And you've got the ability to do that right now with your husband's able to bring in the revenue.
Right.
To build yours. But the principles, I think, are sound to look at your strengths, look at your capabilities, look at your passions, and then start looking at what other contexts you could use them in. And the part of what was going to be unique about yours was you were going to be teaching language, right?
Yes, in my nursery. Well, I have not given up on that idea. As soon as I will be able to open my doors, I will. So yeah, it's just that the situation at the moment. I have a page as well that I try and keep active so that people know this is still going on. It's not something that has been put aside. So yeah, I can't wait to open my doors and invite new customers, and because I am a people's person.
Yes,
I love being around people. I love making a difference, a positive difference, obviously, and I love children. I always did, and now I have my own, and my own child will benefit from little friends coming around. So this is something that will still happen, definitely.
So again, and that again, it's just the timing. When is the universe saying the timing is right? But this links in actually with a conversation I had in yesterday's interview about this, and it's the same thing about look at what you do, and is there another context? Is there another place that might add value, right? And that's really what it comes down to. I think that we have to be able to look at fresh ways. Like for me, a lot of my business is speaking and facilitating with organizations. Well, the day that WHO declared this was a global pandemic, every meeting in the world got canceled through the summer, and now we're looking at through the fall. Who knows till when? And so, I was lucky. I have a studio there. I've already do live streaming. So I'm moving all of my business to virtual. And I'm actually starting to think, I don't know if I want to travel for work anymore. I can speak. I can do strategic planning. I can do it from here. Like if the conference is in Hawaii, awesome. I'll look at going out. But do I just want to go where I'm not going to see any place? I'm going to schlep for 3 days to talk for an hour. I've done that for years. Do I want to? Yes, I want to get back to traveling. Fun, but so it's totally reinventing the business, right?
Yes, yes.
And I love the interaction with people, but right now we don't have it. So it's finding the new ways to do things.
It is, definitely.
Yeah. So Shirley, let me ask you, what are you most excited about for these coming months? What not the specifics about what you're doing in the business, but in terms of your journey?
I'm excited about seeing this really happening. I am enjoying every win, every little win I am celebrating, because it's closer to my goal, it's closer to my dream. And I'm very excited about it. I make it an exciting journey, even when I'm a little bit low in mood and I reach out and they pick me up and I'm like, yeah, here I am again. I look forward to make a difference in women's lives. Yes, and if I can add, in addition to my membership, I have been invited to be part of a group of people, of a committee that helps pregnant women to have a better experience within the hospital where I've actually given birth. And they work together with the maternity ward. And that's perfect. This is exactly the people I want to talk to. and the fact that there is this group that exists in this area, and I can be part of it, and I can look at them and say, look, this was my experience. It was this good thing and that was the bad thing. What are we going to do about the bad thing? Why has it worked out like this? So both parties are actually open-minded to listen to each other and to work with each other to make a difference. It's a volunteering work, but it does not matter for me, because I am really passionate about changing women's experience when they give birth. That is really what matters to me. Obviously, I need to live, and therefore I have the membership. But this is just, I'm so excited about it. And in fact, in the next few months, we are going to start to work together, because this is something brand new. It arrived yesterday. So yeah, if you ask me what I'm most excited about, it's probably this, because this is what really will make impact straight away.
Yeah. And I see the joy in your face, but I also trust that the things are going to start to move with the other things as you follow the joy. So thank you so much, Shirley, for joining me for this.
Thank you so much.
Truly appreciate it. And
thank you very much.
If people are looking for you, this is the best place to track you down on Facebook, the Mom-to-Be Sisterhood.
Yes, this is one of the businesses that I run. So once they find that page, they will find the others.
Okay. And the other thing I want to mention for business owners and entrepreneurs that are watching is June 24th. We are having a half-day virtual conference that's completely different from anything you've ever seen. It's not a Zoom call or a GoToWebinar. This is actually like going to an actual conference center, picking the table you're at, moving around, interacting with people, and having some of the best experts around about how do we lead our way through these times. And if you're interested in that, just go to leadershiprx.com. All the information is there. So excited about the incredible lineup that we have of speakers. And Monday, I will be back with the passion of entrepreneurship. All week, we will be going through with some more incredible entrepreneurs like Shirley. Thank you, Shirley, again.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all for joining us. Bye-bye.